Let me tell you a secret. You already know how to get lean. You know you just need to train hard, eat in a large enough deficit. So what's actually stopping you? Getting lean isn't difficult. Going to war is difficult. Learning rocket science is difficult. Further maths at GCSE is difficult. Getting lean isn't. So let's figure out what's holding you back so you can get lean as quick as possible. And if you're new to this channel, I cut through the noise of social media influencers who preach stupid life hacks that are overcomplicated and just there to catch your attention and feed into the dopamine addiction of just watching silly videos and scrolling all day. Let's get the basics out of the way instantly, as you probably already know them. Training, it doesn't change from your normal sessions. Whatever built the muscle keeps it. Train close to failure, moderate volume, high intensity, that's it. Diet, eat in a deficit every day. No weird water fasts or zero carb diets, just a deficit. Eat the foods you know are good for you and stick to it. Okay, so we've got that out of the way. Now let's discuss what's actually holding you back. Adherence. See, most people see results in the first few weeks and then they get tempted by externalities. They convince themselves that they're hungry, and then because their reason to get lean doesn't really matter enough to them, they give up. So you need to figure out what your why is, and just to have a six-pack isn't enough. You need to delve into the true reason. Do you lack confidence? Do you want to be a good role model for your kids or feel comfortable in your own skin? Take the time to actually work this out. Sit down with a pen and paper, maybe for 30 minutes, and just sit there until you really kind of figure out what the true reason is. And once you've done that, set yourself a timeline. Perhaps maybe you want to be 10% body fat in 3 months' time. Work out what that looks like in terms of body weight, and then break that down week by week. You'll then have a target rate of loss. Perhaps that's 2 pounds a week to lose, and you know what you're actually aiming for in a quantitative way. And that's what will drive you to actually adhere. Understanding the reason you need to put yourself in mild discomfort for a few months, and how long it will actually take. So once the adherence battle is solved, how can we maximize the results in as easy way as possible? First of all, we want to get lean fast, so let's forget about the idea of slowly increasing the deficit over 4 or 5 months. Get into a large deficit instantly. By doing this, we take advantage of the earlier phase where we are the least hungry and most likely to adhere. Most people slowly increase their deficit over a long period and get bored by the slow rate of loss. And work by Martin McDonald shows that people who eat in a small deficit compared to a large deficit are less likely to get lean, more likely to suffer from extreme hunger, and more likely to give up. So let's make the first weeks as effective as possible and aim for the biggest deficit possible. If you want help working this out for yourself, drop me a DM on Instagram and I'll give you a hand. Next is cardio. Most jump to adding 7 sessions in a week straight away, but where do we go from there? We can't add any more a few weeks down the line, and the truth is that that amount of activity is likely to take away from your training and recovery capabilities. At the start, I want you to do zero cardio. Burning 300 calories from cardio takes 30 to 40 minutes and has a lot of downside compared to just taking out 300 calories from food. It's literally a single Kit Kat, guys. Just take it out. Don't do the cardio. It's way easier. At later stages, when food can't really be pushed further, we can start to consider adding more expenditure, but at the start, just focus on consistently getting 10,000 steps as a baseline. Now, let's talk about stress management. Chronic stress is the main driver of cravings for food, alcohol, and bad decisions. Make it a priority to acknowledge what is causing you stress and worry, and either remove these stresses or find ways to mitigate them. Of course, some things are out of our control, but the things that are, get rid of them. And to mitigate the rest, how do we manage them? If it's time constraints, deadlines, and general life, simple things like planning your day ahead and removing frictions will go a long way. And if it's emotional stress, financial stress, find ways in the day to manage how you perceive these things. 5 minutes of journaling in the morning, going for walks in nature without your phone, and taking the time to tackle these in your head without external influences is a good way to process these things and rationalize your thoughts. Alcohol, just eliminate it entirely. Is this sustainable forever? Maybe for some, for others not, but as we want to get to 10% body fat as soon as possible, it just needs to go. Alcohol doesn't bring anything but the opportunity to make bad decisions. It adds tons of calories and it destroys sleep and recovery. By drinking alcohol even moderately, you're making sticking to the rest of your routine an uphill battle. And sticking to your diet, well, there's a few things we can do. Realistically, you want to be eating the same thing every day. Macro tracking, of course, works from an energy balance perspective, but it gives rise to the thought that you can fit a chocolate bar into your calories, and then this drives more cravings and more poor food choices. Your diet needs to consist of mainly single ingredient foods and shoot for 800 grams fruit and veg a day. We need sufficient levels of micronutrients to actually operate well on a daily basis, and this is actually the foundation of just not feeling terrible all the time. Perhaps minimize your eating window by delaying your first meal for a few hours after waking up, and if you know you're susceptible to snacking, set yourself exact times for when you will eat and exactly what you will eat in those meals. When we consider daily routine, accept it will likely be monotonous. Getting lean as fast as possible requires planning and repetitiveness. So wake up at the same time, do steps every morning, meal prep at the same time, and if this really does get boring for you, add novelty in the form of doing steps in new places, different seasonings on foods, new hobbies that don't involve alcohol or food. You need to learn to enjoy novelty within monotony. And finally, let's talk about data tracking. You can't hit something you can't see, so track calorie intake, track your steps, training performance, fasted body weight. Take photos of your physique on a weekly basis in the same location and lighting. This will allow you to understand what needs changing and if your current setup is yielding the results you want. So to wrap this up, you already know how to get lean. Nothing in this video should have shocked you. The difference between you and the people who actually get 10% body fat is not knowledge, it's execution and adherence. You don't need more hacks, more variety, or more opinions. You need a clear plan, a defined timeline, and the willingness to tolerate short-term discomfort for a long-term outcome. If this video helped you cut through some of the noise, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more than you think. And if you want something more structured, I've got a free training program linked in my bio that shows you exactly how I set things up. And if you want this fully personalized with zero guesswork, my online coaching is also linked in my bio. Stop overthinking it, pick a direction and commit. That's how you get lean. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.